A new poll from the New York Times shows Trump topping Biden in 5 of 6 critical swing states. And that's apparently rattling some Democrats, including former President Obama's senior advisor, David Axelrod, who says the following, quote, "If Biden continues to run, he will be the nominee of the Democratic Party. What he needs to decide is whether that is wise, whether it's in his best interests or the country's." Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha, joins me now. Joe, that is not a subtle hint. I read that as a call to action. Have Democrats reached a new high on the panic meter?
Oh, they've gone off it, actually, at this point, Todd, because let's be abundantly clear. David Axelrod would never make such a statement if he didn't get a thumbs up from his former boss in Barack Obama. I got to clear it with the former president before I put this up on X and have millions of people read this. And you have to wonder if this is paving the way for a possible Michelle Obama candidacy. Now, I personally don't think that she wants to run. But again, you look at that tweet and look at the caps at the end, whether it's in his best interest or the country's. In other words, don't be selfish, Joe. Step down. Do what you got to do for the good of democracy or something. And look, Kamala Harris, Todd, as we know, she ain't plan B, despite every contrived media attempt, reboot of her image possible. And poll after poll shows what? Between 70, 80%, even higher of Democrats don't want Joe Biden the sequel. He's losing, as you just showed, in 5 of 6 swing states to Donald Trump, according to that New York Times poll. You look at plus 10 in Nevada. That's really incredible. Georgia, obviously, plus 6, Arizona, plus 5, Michigan, Pennsylvania. These are all states that Joe Biden won in 2020. So you see every Democrat out there on X, not every, but a lot more, and fake Republicans like Bill Kristol saying that Joe Biden should drop out. They're in an absolute panic point at this point because they know Joe Biden isn't a fine wine. He's not going to get better with age. And the question at this point doesn't seem to be if Joe Biden drops out, but when, Todd.
And that's a great point about Michelle Obama, because that does alleviate a lot of the concerns you would have by bumping Kamala Harris off the ticket. African-American woman, you don't have that same criticism that the Democrats would receive if they got rid of Kamala. Let's focus on this poll for a second, Joe, because, I mean, look, we've had you on talking about poll after poll after poll. This one just seems really different to me. That Nevada 10-point number really stands out. But these are states that Trump didn't do great in 2020. And look, these are big numbers. And I think the Democrats are scared. Let's listen to one of them, Pramila Jayapal, expressing her concern on this poll.
We have to do everything we can to elect Joe Biden president. You know that I have been an extremely strong supporter of President Biden on the domestic front. This is the first time, Jen, that I have felt like the 2024 election is in great trouble for the president and for our Democratic control, which is essential to moving forward.
I mean, you hear the panic in her voice. She is scared. Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned Michelle Obama. David Axelrod's comment seems to put it in Biden's hands. But you and I well know that the president of the United States, in this case, Joe Biden, doesn't make decisions whether he's going to run or not. This is from the Democratic power brokers. So, Joe, do those people, the DNC, do they make a call to the bullpen in light of these poll numbers?
Wow. I wonder if that does happen, because Joe Biden, I think himself probably thinks, because he's on vacation 40% of the time of his presidency, that's an actual stat, that's an actual number, says, no, I could still do this. It's like trying to take the keys away from grandpa when you said you can't drive anymore. But you're right. Ultimately, the Democratic power brokers will decide this. And the fact that we now have Democratic lawmakers on MSNBC and deliciously on Jen Psaki's show, who couldn't be a bigger supporter of Joe Biden if she tried, saying this on his home turf, so to speak, yeah, you got to think at some point that the plug will be pulled. The question is, if it's not Michelle Obama, who's like winning Emmys and, you know, and she obviously works for Netflix and she's got a mansion on the water in Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if she wants to jump into this, but she may be, you know, asked politely, please, can you do this to save the country kind of thing. Then I guess it's Gavin Newsom, right? Because he's over in China meeting with President Xi and obviously making a very public statement that I will be president or I could be the nominee if you give me the chance. So I guess that's what's happening at this point. Who replaces Joe Biden is the big question. Does Kamala Harris stay on the ticket? I can't see that happening because Biden-Harris is kind of a brand, and you can't separate one without the other, Todd.
What confuses me about this, Joe, is, again, we've had you on the program. You've been saying from the get-go the Democrats don't have a bench, right? So obviously the Democrats have to be aware themselves they did not have a bench. They also, you would assume, would have had some foresight that the president would be 86 if he won re-election in 2024 when he left office in 2028. Right. Did they not think of a plan B? Quick final reaction to you.
I think they thought Plan B was Kamala Harris, and then they saw Kamala Harris do a speech, or they saw her performance in fixing the border and said, oh, no, this is not Plan B. So I think that's what they thought they had, and now they realize they don't have anything.
Joe, if this weekend's
like the Giants,
football sport, you beat me to it. If it showed me anything, you need multiple quarterbacks. Joe and I on the same page. Thanks for rubbing it in. Giants are in sad shape as the Democrats. Fox and Friends begins right now. Have a great day.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.